Alright, man. So I'm just doing kind of a video answer thing to one of the subscribers. I'm actually getting trailer work done right now, as you can hear it. You had some questions about system transport, and I know it's been a little minute since I've been able to really focus on that because I've been so busy just running my ass off here. But so I wrote it all down on a piece of shitty paper just in case I forgot, which I know I will. I know myself too well. Do I recommend system? I do. That comes kind of slightly hesitant, mainly because, okay, they're good for the training, right? And experience. It's always good to learn about load securement. I think that's very important when it comes to driving trucks. Another thing, the reason why I left system was, I got tired of waiting on loads. It happened often, not a lot, but enough for me to lose my mind. For some, it might not be so bad. Some guys don't mind it. It's just personal preference, really, as with all things, right? The other things were, the DMs I felt were becoming a little disassociated with the driver and what they have to deal with on a daily, hourly, minutely basis, especially during seasons like snow seasons, rain seasons, just the different types of seasons. I feel like they just don't fully get the picture. Like my DM before I left never drove a truck before, so you can only imagine his lack of experience as far as driving trucks. So that was difficult, you know what I mean? And then, oh yeah, too much tarping. There was just a lot of tarping that went on, and sometimes I'd get somewhere, and sometimes I'd get somewhere, and they're like, "Why did you tarp it?" And I'm like, "Well, it said to tarp it." And they're like, "You didn't have to." And I'm like, "Well." Honestly, if I would have known that I didn't have to tarp it, then I probably wouldn't have, you know what I mean? I get paid either way, but it's still frustrating. That's your clock, that's how you make your money, is with your miles, Some of the locations were kind of dangerous. There were a lot of situations where, I was really second guessing why we even run this. It just, there were times where it just didn't make sense. I remember one time I went out to Montana, no cell service or anything, and I get there and I'm picking up like these wood spikes, right, in bundles, and I can't find a soul, and it's this whole yard, just this desolate yard of just nothing, right, just mud, dirt, buildings, but there's literally nobody out there, and it's just a vast piece of property. And so I basically just go. I had my daughter at the time, so you go down like this long dirt road, and you're just kind of like, I don't even know. The GPS quits working. Like I said, you can't call anybody because you're completely off the grid. And so I just went from building to building to building to building to find somebody. And the only thing was I sat in the truck for a minute. I went as far as I thought was necessary, and I sat there for a minute, and I saw off in the far distance a couple of stacks moving right over like a little hill. And so I was like, well, maybe that's another driver, and I should probably do that, and maybe ask him some questions and go from there. And luckily it was another system driver who kind of helped me out with that. But almost being ran over. It was a Home Depot next to a Costco, and they had to barricade off some part of the road. Like, it's a major area for these people to go through, and oh yeah, people were losing their fucking minds, let me tell you. It's ridiculous. Other than that, just learning the ropes, being on your own for the first time, it's a little scary, but once you get the hang of it and what you're doing, you're gonna fuck up. Things are gonna happen, and you're not gonna do it again. You do it one time, and you're gonna learn pretty quickly not to do that. So it's a great company, and I did enjoy my time there. I did learn a lot about tarping. I tried to become as proficient as possible. Same thing with strapping. So yes, I mean, I do recommend it. They kind of have their ducks in a row, but I'm assuming each branch, right, is different. So yeah, I do recommend for the training. A lot of it is throw to the wolves. You know, they don't do a whole lot in the way of chaining. The only chaining they really do is like genies, and you know, they used to do a lot of stuff back in the day, but I think Melton and probably some of the other companies do most of the chaining. All the coils that I did were mainly on skids, and some of the strapping advice on site was a little sketchy. You know, I did the best I could, and you know, some of the time I wasn't fully comfortable with. I personally would have taken like one coil off just so I could space it out a little bit more, so I could throw my X straps a little bit more proficiently instead of folding it over, and you know, it kind of left a gap, and I didn't like it. But you know, what do? You know, you call somebody, they don't care. It's about the load, man. I personally was on the 295 fleet. You know, there's some camaraderie there, a lot of older generation guys, you know, but other than that, you know, you see a lot of, you know, you're with the company for a little while and you see a lot of new faces, and you know, at some point it just stops making sense trying to meet everyone. I ran with a pretty tight crowd. You know, we would call each other just about every day or every other day. You know, we gave each other space, but you know, I spoke with my trainer and his friend, and I mean, it was a good time. I had a good time. The pay, you know, 16 to 1800 is probably gross. You know, I've made, you know, they do tuition reimbursement, but let's say take that out. You know, I'd say my weekly gross pay was probably around 16 to 18, and sometimes I'd bring home, you know, 13. You know, mostly 11. It really depends on the DM and what runs they give you, but you know, it was mainly like 1100 to 1400. Like there were a few times where I was able to grab, you know, 16, 18. I think most of the trainers probably get about 2000, but I'll leave that up to interpretation. But I would say mostly your base level pay was probably around 1100. I know that they increased it by like 7 cents or something, so that could change obviously, but not too crazy. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Do I think, you know, they're a good company? Yeah, I do. I think they have high points. They have okay equipment. You know, a lot of the trailers that you'd pick up, you know, they would have issues. I've had to replace many tires, air leaks, and a lot of it is just because other drivers who have them don't want to deal with it, you know, so they just drop it. They drop it empty, they pick up their preloaded, and you know, they're on to the next thing. Out of sight, out of mind, and you know, now they got themselves, you know, into a better situation than you. So yeah, a lot of times I'd show up and there'd be a flat tire right away, or an air leak, or you know, like one time I had the wrong tarps from a completely different company on my trailer. I mean, and I do believe I put it on my channel. I don't remember what video, but you know, they even cocked up the whole tarping situation. You know, they literally put on the tarps backwards. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just started waiting for loads. It was kind of my big one. I like knowing what I'm doing from day to day, and when I don't know what I'm doing from day to day, it just drives me absolutely nuts. Like what I do now. Excuse me. What I do now is I wake up at like 12 midnight, in the truck by 1, on the road by like 1:05, 1:10. You know, I get fuel the night before, so I don't have to do it that morning. You know, I drive all the way to Tacoma. I offload, you know, the hog fuel that I have, and then I drive, you know, a couple miles in a different direction, get in line, get loaded, leave, offload in Yakima, get a little bit of fuel because I only have 70-gallon tanks. You know, I got 2 of them, and each one of them are 70 gallons. So by the time I get back here and offload and everything, I got about like that much fuel left. So I get just a little bit left so I can keep, keep my speed and momentum up. And anyway, so yeah, I'll get a little bit of fuel, and then I'll head out towards White Swan, drop my empty, pick up my loaded, and rinse and repeat. Wake up next day around midnight, leave by 1:05, 1:10. It's the same thing every day. And my hours are usually between, depending, how fast things happen, 13, 14-hour days. I mean, like right now, I'm having trailer work done because I got done a little early today. That's a luxury. I mean, normally I have an hour to 30 minutes left on my clock at the end of the day, and that's fueled up, that's loaded trailer, that's shut it down for the night, wake up the next day, That's everything done, and I have about a half hour to an hour left on my clock. Yeah, this morning, maybe I'll throw a couple pictures up. This morning, the only reason why I'm here is because when I was getting loaded in Tacoma with the construction residual shred, I had a rebar, big old rebar, poke right through the side of my trailer, and I figure, well, since I'm here getting this fixed, I might as well get some of the other holes fixed, because I've been kind of slacking on that, mainly because I just didn't have the time. Plus, they added that extra route onto my day, which, just with anything else, it can sometimes take a little bit to find where you can get those moments. So like right now, let me sign back in. Okay, so like right now on my 14, I have 3 hours and 51 minutes. On my drive, I have 4 hours and 24 minutes. Now, if I have to, I can deploy my 16-hour rule on my 14, make that 14 a 16-hour, no problem. So I'm not even gonna trip about that, as long as I got the drive time. It's 11:15 a.m. It takes about an hour and 20 minutes to get out there. So let's just say collectively that's 2.5 hours back and forth. I'll be done before 3. This guy says it'll take about an hour. Well, the owner, Jim, says just grab a plate and rivet the shit on there. And I said, yeah, just fucking rivet it on there and get me going, Don't waste my time. But no, that's back to the original subject of discussion. System is a decent company, decent flatbed company. It gets you into the scene of it. It gets you familiar with the Tritums, all the different axles, the bridge laws, and it really opens up your mind. You have opportunities to run oversized, but those only come to those that are proficient at kind of what's going on. If you're the type of guy who's like slacking off and just doing dumb shit all the time, then chances are you're gonna either find yourself fired or just getting shit runs. I mean, I made good money. I will say I made good money. It gave me the experience that I need, not necessarily for this job, but it was really I feel kind of a deciding factor. Anytime that you have a job for any length of time, to another employer, is it for everyone? No. You're going to find that out when you're having to tarp every damn load, and it's every, like twice a day. Like twice. It can be twice a day. It really depends. But, I mean, hell, there was a day where I just stayed in Spokane and just did local runs back and forth, just picking up an empty trailer, running over, picking up Kaiser, tarping it, blah, 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 going back to the yard, dropping it, picking up another empty, getting reloaded with tarps and straps and everything else, going back over, doing the same thing. I did 3 of those trailers in a single day. I tarped 3 times. Yeah, I mean, it can be rough. It can be rough, but like I said, do your year, 8 months to a year. See how you like it. Just a little story before I leave and get off of here. I was a Swift flatbed, and I was trying to catch up to him because I noticed that he had like rebar, like it was and I could see in the wind, you know, it was flapping around like this, and the straps were doing this on top of the load, and I'm like, that's not right, you know. I mean, you could have a million straps on the thing, but if they're all doing this, then I mean, it's completely ineffective. And so I was trying to catch up to him, and you know, he I guess took it as me trying to overtake him, you know, and I'm not trying to overtake anybody. I don't care who's. I don't care, you know. I'm gonna do me and you do you. I mean, but point is you know, I tried to catch up to him and he went faster, you know. And it's like, you know, people like that, you know, that they're gonna kill somebody or themselves in the process of being stupid, you know. I got a lot of opinions about that, but that's not this kind of video. This is about a system transport, and hopefully the answers were what you were looking for. If I didn't answer a question or two, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, the system, they're very complex, and they can sometimes be kind of a shadowy business, you know. Like you want to know what you're doing now, but they're like, well, we don't know yet, and go here but don't go that far, and sit here and do that, and you know, we'll probably have something in an hour. Case in point, I've sat for 4 hours waiting for another load. 4 hours, and I've already offloaded because I parked there that night, and so I did a bunch of stuff, offload and all this other stuff off the clock. You think I got paid for any of that? No, because I'm waiting for those miles. So that's a whole morning and part of my afternoon where I didn't get paid for. Something to consider, you know. I think more driving jobs should be hourly. I really do. Yeah. But anyway, hopefully this finds you, and hopefully this answers some questions in regards to all of that. And yeah, as always, if anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to holler. You guys have a good rest of your day, and I'm gonna get going on mine here pretty soon, hopefully. But peace.